I was generating about 100 leads a month on LinkedIn before you could post content at all. There was only 200 content creators, guys like Tony Robbins and Richard Branson and stuff like that. And so I was using direct response. I just thought of it like, well, instead of picking up the phone to try and reach a key decision maker, which is now effective 1% of the time, you can get an appointment 1% of the time on average. I thought, why don't I look them up on LinkedIn and I'll send them a message. And if the message is compelling enough, maybe they'll want to meet with me. So then we started generating leads for clients as well. So I've worked across the various B2B industries and very consistently generated return on investment with direct response. And so when all of a sudden you could post articles and then later came video, I reluctantly started doing it because I'm a LinkedIn marketer. I've got to see me doing this stuff. I was already active on YouTube. After about a year or two, it took a year or two, I didn't see much happening. A lot of people were like, what are you doing all those videos for? Blah, 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 blah. I put a lot of energy into my intro video and was probably compensating for my lack of confidence. People were sort of watching him, but then I kind of stepped up a level after 2 years when I actually started to focus on the value that I was providing and the content. When I did that, I noticed that I went into a space where there was less competition. It was like a blue ocean. I've been trying to figure out a way for a long time to offer that to my clients because I think it's way more valuable than the immediate return on investment of setting appointments, because you're always going to have to consistently do that to generate sales. Whereas if you build a brand, then it's something that it's like an asset for the business and you get inbound leads. Can anybody guess what the average social media engagement rate is? So the percentage of people that either like, comment, or share on something? 2%? Any other guesses? So it's interesting, right? Because all of our attention's on social media. We tap, one research thing says we tap, swipe, and whatever else 2,600 times a day on average, right? One research study said. Our attention's there, but the people that are producing content or the companies that are producing content aren't really doing much of a good job, because that's an indication that people aren't actually that interested. No. Social media in general, yeah. Yeah, so because a lot of people say, well, if you're not on social media in business, you're dead in the water, which is true. But if you're on social media and you're not actually building a relationship with your audience, you're just as bad off. It's very easy to get distracted, and that's what most people have done. They've got distracted. They've hopped onto social media. They forgot about the relationship aspect because there's a scoreboard, there's likes, there's followers, and all that sort of stuff. And they started chasing that, but they don't really know why. And it's a big distraction, because while they're doing all that, they're not actually building a relationship with the customers. And this is this is the problem with what most people are doing, and it's because we're selfish and impatient. We've got enough time to do it over and over and over and over and over again wrong, but we haven't got enough time to do it right the first time. And we're selfish. It's fascinating to me when somebody comes to me and they say, oh, my social media is not working. And I look at their social media page and it's literally just all about them. And when I try to explain that to them, they're like, they don't get it at all. I mean, it's like, no, but what do you mean? I want to make money. I'm not on there for other people. It's for me, you know? And so you go to a real estate agent's LinkedIn profile or Facebook page. Okay, we've got a new property listing. Now we've got a new team member. Now we're doing Friday drinks, and it's all about them. They haven't actually taken the time to ask their customers what they're interested in. Like the real estate sites the real estate agencies that sponsor the local footy team, and they're talking about what's going on in the community and stuff like that, is actually getting engagement, and they're building rapport and they're building positive brand sentiment with their target audience. We've got more choices, but we've got less time, right? So people's attention is becoming harder and harder to capture. And how you capture attention is different on each platform, right? Like on Instagram, you do it with an image. On LinkedIn, you have to actually do it with the captions, because that's what they see first in the newsfeed. No one's going to watch your video unless your caption compels them to, unless it builds intrigue. After 10 seconds of watching a video on LinkedIn, guess how many people have stopped watching on average after 10 seconds? Okay, it's not that high. 50%, yeah. 50% on average. But after a minute, it's 80%, right? If you're posting something and you watch the first 10 seconds and it's just you going, well, hey, here I am. I thought I'd do a video. Well, I was going to do it about this, but now I'm doing it about this, and 10 seconds is gone. Chances are you've lost more than 50% of your audience. And so normally when people do videos, the natural way we think about doing it is an introduction. We explain why we're here, tell a bit of a backstory, problem and a solution, and then the ending, which is like the lesson. In social media, you do the opposite way. If you want to put a 10-minute video on LinkedIn, it's got to be awesome for people to watch it. You want to chop that up potentially into 5 or 6 different videos. With social media, a lot of businesses are not planning what they're doing on content. It's a little bit like they're waking up in the morning and they're like, oh, I haven't done a post in a couple of days. What can I post about? And it's an extremely inefficient and ineffective way of doing your social media. So if you're going to do social media, I think the first thing you need to do is make a decision to be focused about it. Because if you're unfocused, you're reactive, you're not in control, you're unsure about the future, you haven't really got much breathing room, you're surviving, you procrastinate. And when you're focused, you've got a longer term vision, you're relaxed and calm, you know how to make decisions, you know what to say no to, you know what your content's about. And you've taken the time to ask your audience information about what their problems are, what their frustrations are, what kind of entertainment they want, what kind of stories they want to hear. So you're confident. And then as you post content, you're monitoring the insights that the community is giving you so that you can make more targeted content. Has anybody heard of Gary Vaynerchuk? A lot of you, right? So Gary V's literally become a celebrity through social media. And the way he's done it is by monitoring very closely what his audience is interested in. Like he talks a lot about self-awareness and not caring what other people think, not listening to your parents. He never came out speaking about any of that stuff. He was a businessman and an entrepreneur, and he's talking about social media marketing. But what happened is that when he started to see the comments come in about that stuff, and there was an interest in that stuff, then he'd create more content about that, get more engagement, and then he'd get even more granular about what people are interested in and what their actual problems are. The thing with attention is there's different kinds of attention. Not all attention is the same. It's not all worth the same, right? Like if you're on LinkedIn, if somebody's in your first degree network, they know who you are, you've got an offline relationship with them, their attention is worth a lot more to you than somebody on Instagram that's not in your target audience. And so what people are doing is they're focusing on the volume. LinkedIn is 3 times as trusted as an information source for business-to-business decision-making. 3 times. So that means if you've got 10,000 followers on LinkedIn, it's just as valuable, if not more, as 30,000 followers on another channel.